Coming up this week, off screen.
Eddie Redmayne shows us some fantastic beasts and tells us where to find them.
Logan Lerman's filled with indignation.
The Stooges get their very own doc with Gimme Danger.
It's a post-apocalyptic powwow in We Are the Flesh.
We pay a visit to the United States of Love.
Things get dog-eat-dog with Nicolas Cage.
And there's some gender-swapping comedy with Your Name.
All those to come and more, off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off Screen. I'm Van Connor.
I am Case Allen.
And before we get to the film news, the reviews, the box office top 10, we should start, of course, by talking about something from the news. What's the big thing this week, then, Kate?
For me, it was the news that Robert Redford, after his next two films, is going to be calling it quits. That's it.
That's terrible news. We both love Mr. Redford, don't we?
Of course, yeah.
With
and also Brad Pitt, who is sort of like the new Robert Redford. Yes. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's time for Robert Redford to go so Brad Pitt can fully just be Robert Redford.
When Redford retires, Brad Pitt can start to age. He can
finally.
He can enter
50 years.
Age.
Yeah.
But
that kind of sucks.
Other films, he's got one at the moment. It's the one with Jane Fonda. I think he's just finished that one. The one that's reuniting him with Jane Fonda.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that's called. There's another one.
And then he's doing one...
David S. Lowry.
Yes, that's The Old Man and the Gun.
Old Man and the Gun, yeah. I think that Casey Affleck is in that.
Yeah,
which, I mean, that's going to be great, just seeing those two on screen together.
Isn't that about like a man who escapes from prison in its period piece and he goes on a heist or something?
Yeah, which sounds like the perfect film for Robert Redford to finish on, doesn't it?
It does.
That sounds like a film he would do in the 60s.
He has said, though, he's not going to stop directing. He is going
Which
to
is good.
Good. That's fine. And he's got Sundance, you know. So
he has got Sundance.
He'll never be far from our
I would love to go to actual Sundance one day. It's a bit of a dream.
I can send you to Sundance London.
I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that for now, yeah.
So, let's do a quick plug for the podcast first. We'll do that first, get out of the way. If you want the full extended version of this show, because I don't know about you, but sometimes, I enjoy a show on radio. I think I wish there was a longer version of it. And in this case, you're in luck, because there is.
I'm just greedy. I just want more.
That's it.
Always want more.
And if you go on to iTunes, Acast, Deezer, TuneIn, any podcast platform,
you'll find us.
You'll find us. They're on there, off screen. It's on there. Just type it in, get the full version. You basically get the radio edit, and then you get another bit of show after the end credits where we do all the films we can't feed in.
Lucky you.
I know. Yeah. And you get the moment of Cage. And that's
worth tuning in. That's worth the price of free admission alone.
We have, of course, if you go over to the competition section on our website at the moment as well, there's swag to be won. You can win DVD copies of Now You See Me 2 and what's one? Elstree 1976. That's Star Wars doc
we had a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we did that. We reviewed that last week. It's pretty good. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
It was okay. Yeah.
If you're a Star Wars fan, it's a must-see, I think. There's loads of faces you'll recognise, names you won't. It's nice to connect the two. But go on to onscreenfilm.com, go into the competition section, and, well, win some swag. So...
what film do we have to kick off proceedings?
It's the biggie. We're going to do the biggie first.
It's always good to start with a biggie.
Exactly. And this, of course, is Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
Where do you find them?
Where do you find them? Apparently in New York in 1926 is the answer to that question. And this is part 1 of 5, we're told. So there's going to be 5 of these films. These are Harry Potter prequels, as they are. They are based... There is a book called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. But it's like a
textbook,
it's like a textbook, yeah.
Within the world.
Exactly. Yeah. The textbook is not so much a plot point. It happens to get written at the end of the film. The main character is Newt Scamander, who's played by Reddy Edmayne, and which is his new name is Reddy Edmayne, as you know.
That's been his name for a while.
I think it should be. So Reddy Edmayne, having won his Oscar, is now joining the Wizarding world. He's
now getting a franchise.
Exactly. That's what you do, because you win an Oscar.
That's what happens. You become Captain Marvel.
Exactly. You know, Chiwetel nearly won his Oscar. He got a Marvel series.
Who did he lose the Oscar to?
Wasn't that
McConaughey? That was a tough year. That was a tough year.
Yeah.
Bruce Dern that year as well.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Dern.
Leo, of course.
Of course, Leo. Didn't Bruce Dern lose to Jared Leto? For both the Dallas Buyers Club?
No, he was down for lead.
Oh.
He was down for lead in Nebraska.
Oh, of course he was. Yeah. He's not supporting, is he? Silly me. Right, so Newt Scamander, played by Reddy Edmayne, who is a globe spanning. I think he's called a magizoologist.
That's what I've seen in all of the posters and whatnot.
So he is a zoologist. He studies animals, but he studies magical animals, aka the fantastic creature of the title. Turns up at Ellis Island in 1926. The famous Ellis Island kind of image turns up at immigration, and he's asked, "Can we look in your suitcase?" Unbeknownst to anyone there, his suitcase contains samples of magical creatures, and the reason it does is because his suitcase is like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside to the extent that you can climb down inside it, and it is like a TARDIS. It's a whole structure inside. It's a whole zoo inside. Before long, there's a sort of comedy of errors where he accidentally switches suitcases with a non-magi, or muggle to you and me, but the Americans
call him a
non-magi.
Non-magi,
I think it is. And needless to say, a bunch of the creatures wind up being let loose in New York. What follows then is this Goosebumps-style adventure of let's find the creature and put it back in the book, or in this case, suitcase. And in the background is a plot involving a rising anti-witch sentiment in New York, which is trying to sort of be Salem all over again. They want a new Salem. And the idea is that humans have an inkling that witches and wizards exist, but they're seen as kind of maniacs. And this is all going on. Ezra Miller's involved, and Samantha Morton's there, and she's not in any of the marketing, Samantha Morton.
I didn't even know that she was in this film.
And throughout all of this is Colin Farrell doing
he's your big bad.
He's kind of your big bad, yeah. Kind of. He's involved in it somehow. We're not quite sure how. Here's a clip.
It was open?
Just a smidge.
That crazy Niffler thing's on the loose again?
Might be.
Look for it. Look. Oh. His neck's bleeding. He's hurt. Oh, wake up. Mr. No Match. Mercy, Lewis, what is that?
Nothing to worry about. That is a murtlap.
What else have you got in there?
So I think there's something like a dozen creatures in total, and most of them we encounter them all. This is an interesting litmus test because there's been a thing for years where it is kind of the done thing to ridicule J.K. Rowling for being a bit of a money grubber, as it were. Drawing blood from a stone. And Harry Potter will never go away because she will always find a way to squeeze more money out of it. And, well, in a year that gave us The Cursed Child,
which has made
all the money, yeah. And and then we've had the book of the script of The Cursed Child,
also made all the money,
which she hasn't written. I think it's her story, but someone else has written it.
I believe so, yeah.
And now we've got, for the very first time, a completely original cinematic story from Harry Potter. So there's a litmus test here. Can Harry Potter, as a franchise, continue? Can there be other avenues for this series?
And what do you think?
I actually think there can be. First of all, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I did get swept up in the sort of adventurousness of it. And once you put aside certain niggling concerns throughout, which I will get to in a moment.
I had zero interest in seeing it about a year ago.
I wasn't interested at all in seeing it. My expectations were non-existent, but...
Yeah, pretty much the same as well. But weirdly, obviously this is the job of marketing, but the marketing in the last couple of weeks has really, really got me, really drawn me in.
I think the more I hear about
it,
they've played up the period piece setting a lot more in the marketing.
I think that's what it is. And also the fact that it's set in America, it's set in New York.
It is a side you've always wanted to see,
we've never seen. So,
well, I was quite... For one thing, they never show you the American wizarding school. We are told about it.
Oh, do you never actually see it?
We never actually get to see it, and I had expected that'd be something they'd throw in.
I thought that would be the case, yeah.
The cast, first of all, the cast are great in this. So Eddie Redmayne, when is he ever really bad? It's a lie. I said that without remembering Jupiter Ascending. Yeah.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
I will raise my voice.
I create life.
Speak really lowly. Eddie Redmayne's a lot of fun. Having said that, he is playing Matt Smith's Doctor.
Well, yeah.
In costume, conception, movement,
he just needs
everything.
a sonic screwdriver.
Well, he's got his wand. This is the thing. The way he moves around with the wand,
very much like a
and he's literally carrying his TARDIS with him. You look at when this film was written as well, and you think, so it was written when Matt Smith actually was the Doctor. It kind of shows. And that is symptomatic of something that plagues the film throughout, which is there is nothing particularly original about it. Despite the fact that it's the first original story, originality is something it surprisingly lacks. So the plot is Goosebumps. When it finally does away with that and does its own unique plot for about the last 20 minutes, it falls back on replicating almost point for point the third act of one of the earlier Harry Potter films. So much so that by the time you get to a grand reveal, you realise the producers and the directors kind of ruined this for you weeks in advance.
You've already seen it, yeah.
There is the whole Doctor Who thing, and this film will forever answer the question of, is there room for a Doctor Who film in multiplexes? The answer is very firmly yes. But I do think, once you get past that whole originality thing, there is something to enjoy here. It's got that seamless Harry Potter feeling because David Yates is back to direct, and David Yates is the last 4?
He's going to be the last 4, and he's going to be doing the next 4 as well after this one as well.
J.K. Rowling turns out to be a better screenwriter than you'd expect because she's actually scripting this one.
Yeah.
She's no Gillian Flynn.
Has she done it solo, or has she done it with someone else?
She's done this screenplay solo. This is all her, and it shows there is some unique character banter in there. It's not a film, surprisingly, given that it's a franchise launch. It doesn't fall back too heavily on world building and foreshadowing, which I think is a very good thing.
Yeah,
because
that's what tends to happen with these kind of franchise stuff.
There's always like an offhand comment about, there's going to be like some kid named Riddle. Keep an eye on him. None of that. Harry Potter fans, though, the die-hard fans, if you are one of those fans who grew up with Harry Potter, who are sort of day and day age-wise with Harry Potter, and there's legions of age-appropriate Harry Potter fans out there, they're going to lap this up. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all because it has it down. It does feel like a Harry Potter film. It feels like it takes place in the universe. It doesn't feel like just a spin-off, though. This does not feel like Fear the Walking Dead, where you're very aware that you're just watching a cheap side project for the thing you actually want to watch. It is its own unique thing. I do like that about it, but at the same time, there is a familiarity that works. Non-fans, I think, are going to treat this the same way they would have treated a Harry Potter film. It is that. It's no better or worse than the average Harry Potter film. I don't think it's particularly as engrossing or as gripping as the original Potter films, but that was
it better than Chamber? Because I thought that Chamber was the weakest.
You thought Chamber was the weakest?
Chamber was the weakest.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Actually.
I'm an Azkaban man.
I am an Azkaban man as well. Yeah, I think it's better than Deathly Hallows. Put it that way, because I think those movies sucked, but I did like it. I will just one thing, because there are going to be a lot of obsessive fans who sit through the end credits waiting for something after the credits. There isn't anything after the end credits. I checked. I sat there and I waited. I checked. There isn't anything.
You've made that sacrifice.
I have made that sacrifice for you, but unless they held it back from the press, which I doubt, there's nothing after the end credits.
Go home.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back. So where to now, Mr. Allen?
Let's go to that box office.
That
box office of ours of the UK.
Number 10.
The Light Between Oceans.
I really liked this. I did say it was like a Daniel Steele adaptation for Guardian readers, and I stick to that. I stand by that. I think Fassbender's terrific in this. Fassbender is one of those actors.
I feel like he could do this in his sleep, though.
The thing is, though, Fassbender, as an actor, you might agree with me on this one. Although we all acknowledge, we know he's a terrific actor, he's not what you would say. He's not how you'd say an investable character at times. He's not a character actor whose performances you can warm to. They are performances
sometimes
you respect.
Sometimes it takes a while,
and admire.
especially in a film like Shame as well.
Very much so. This is very much, he actually becomes quite investable, quite a likeable and engaging character, even though he's kind of standoffish and he makes some really stupid calls in it. Alicia Vikander gets the meat of it. There's Rachel Weisz as well. They seem to compete for who can, tug at the heartstrings the most. I really, really liked it. I was engrossed by it. It's something I actually want to see again, strangely enough.
Number 9.
Jack Reacher, never go back again unless you get paid enough money to do so.
I think they're going to keep throwing money at him for this one, but we've got Mission Impossible 6 news later, haven't we? Have you got
we may have.
We may have. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the thing with this one. It does feel like a high-end TV movie. You know those movies that Tom Selleck used to make? The Stone movies or whatever they're called, where Tom Selleck's like an Alaskan sheriff or something. Yes. This feels like someone wanted to do that in cinemas. And that's what it is. That's not to say it's particularly bad. I mean, middle-aged people to grandparents who like NCIS are going to love this. They're going to lap this up because it is basically Tom Cruise does an NCIS movie. That's exactly how it plays. So, if you're down for that kind of thing, then rock on. You're going to enjoy this.
Number 8.
Storks.
It's hanging around.
It's been around for a while. It's been around for 5 weeks at this point.
I don't get it because it's not that good. I mean,
it's a thing.
It's just a thing. It's just there. You know, it
exists.
It exists. That's it. It's just there. It's not particularly funny. It takes its time to, not even let you warm to it, just for you to tolerate it. It wears you down more than anything else. And that's a shame, because there's a terrific cast there. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the kids are better off with Trolls, but that's just me.
Number 7.
The Girl on the Train.
Now, have you had the pleasure of this yet?
No, it's going to be a Netflix, or just when it comes to Blu-ray kind of deal, I think.
You are going to feel like you're watching a cheap Gone Girl cash-in.
Yeah, I know, but after about half an hour, I'm just going to stop it and put Gone Girl on.
Well, funnily enough, I didn't realise the week this came out was also the week that Gone Girl hit Netflix, almost as if someone had deliberately timed that.
David Fincher's just sitting there with a big button, deploy.
Deploy the Gone Girl. But this does have some great performances, and Emily Blunt is just genuinely brilliant in this.
Yeah, well, they are severely pushing for Oscar and awards consideration this year.
I'd be quite happy to see her nominated for awards for this. Okay. I don't think she'll win anything for it, but I could see her getting nominated, and deservedly so.
She's never been nominated at this point.
Has she never?
Never.
Wow, I didn't realise that.
I think she's been nominated for Golden Globe, but never for Oscar.
Number 6.
Nocturnal Animals. I still haven't seen this. I really, really want to.
And I loved this because it was slick, it was stylish.
It's everything you expect from Tom Ford.
It's everything you expect from Tom Ford, and it is gripping. It's got some great performances. This is one I expect to see mentioned around awards season. I think maybe there'll be an Amy Adams nod, because between this and Arrival, her star is edging closer to the limelight a little bit.
She's kind of dancing around the Leo situation.
You do wonder
how she's
not
5 times she's been nominated, I believe. Yeah,
I can't remember what they were offhand, but
I could rattle them off, but that would just be bad radio.
Give me 2 at least.
Doubt and American Hustle, Overfighter as well. That's 3. No. And another 2.
I did not remember those. Okay, there we are. Let's talk then about. Unless you want to do a bit of film news, we'll talk about Doggy Dog if you've got a bit of film news first.
I got
give me something newsworthy. Give me something newsworthy.
So, do you remember the Green Hornets film that came out a few years ago? Seth Rogen.
That awful Seth Rogen Cameron Diaz thing.
I know, the one that I had really, really high hopes for, and then I started watching it.
I remember that being the film that Seth Rogen slimmed down for.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Lost a lot of wood, didn't he? Yeah. Well, it had some good names attached to it. The director was Michel Gondry as well.
Christoph Waltz, wasn't it?
Christoph. Do you know who the bad guy was supposed to be?
I do. Go on. Revel.
Sir Nicholas of Cage.
Sir Nicholas of Cage.
Supposed to be Sir Nick Cage. But yeah, because it is 2016 and it's a property that's not been used for a few years, we're going to get a new one. It's not going to be related to the Seth Rogen, Michel Gondry one. It's going to be a gritty reboot because people still like to Dark Knight things nowadays.
Why?
It's what happens. I mean, I think that they did an honourable attempt with the Green Hornet. They tried to get that tone because it's got to have a little bit more kind of levity to it. But because money. The
thing I always remember about the Green Hornet was that in the 60s, when the series ran on ABC that had Bruce Lee as Kato, because ABC also ran the Adam West Batman series, they did a crossover.
Is that where they're like walking up the wall?
No, they had an episode where they teamed up.
Oh, right. I remember seeing
Batman
a scene where
and Kato teamed up with Batman and Robin.
Oh, right. I remember seeing a clip where Batman and Robin are like grappling like up a wall, and then Kato and Green Hornet just like look out of a window, and it's like, oh,
could entirely be the same
Cape Crusader.
But the thing I always remember as well about the Nicolas Cage almost being the villain thing was that he apparently was told to go away because he insisted on doing it in a Jamaican accent. Which,
I mean, the world has been denied.
The world clearly has been robbed of a great performance.
And instead we had Bane.
Well, let's stick with Nicolas Cage then.
Let's do it,
talk about Dog Eat Dog, which reunites him with Paul Schrader, a.k.a. the writer of Taxi Drivers, he'd like to be referred to.
That's going to be on his grave, isn't it?
It's on the poster for this.
Yeah.
And
I think it's been on every poster for every film he's ever made.
To which you think, he did other things. He has done many, many other things.
But
why is he still just the writer of Taxi Driver? But yes, so this is a brilliant team up. Nicolas Cage and Willem Dafoe.
Not Willem de Friend, Willem Dafoe.
Exactly. And boy, is he a foe. So this opens with this brilliant sequence in which Willem Dafoe, under the influence of countless substances, takes refuge in his I'll just say one of his casual fun buddies' abodes.
That's a very PC way of putting it.
Only for her to return home in a bad mood and give him grief and be brutally murdered as a result. And I do mean brutally murdered, along with her teenage daughter as well. And it is this wonderful scene of just satirical misogyny. It is this horribly chauvinistic, sexist, misogynistic scene, but it seems to have been done for satire. And you think, oh wow, we're in for a treat there. What follows then is an attempt by Willem Dafoe's character, Nicolas Cage's character, another actor who I forget, sort of an unknown, the three of them who were all ex-cons, to kidnap and ransom a baby, only for the plan to go horribly wrong when they accidentally shoot the man who's supposed to be paying the ransom whilst they're conducting the kidnapping.
Well, this sounds like a fun time.
Exactly. Here's a clip.
There was me, Troy. There was Mad Dog. And there was Diesel. See, people pretty much can't stand Mad Dog, and I get it. I do. But what you gotta understand is, I know this guy in a very particular way. I barely knew Mad Dog, but he knew my parole was coming up, and he took his fall for me. He just did it, like that. And so somebody like that, you owe a lifetime.
This film doesn't particularly ever shy away from the darker, more brutal aspects of its own story. It is based on apparently quite a well-received novel. The problem with it really is it seems to have no consistency whatsoever to literally any element of itself. So Nicolas Cage, for instance, is having another one of those days where he's decided to go off the reservation. This character doesn't stay the same.
Just a Thursday, isn't it?
Just a Thursday for Mr. Cage. There's a whole prolonged sequence in which he decides to carry on disguising his voice as Humphrey Bogart's, and he does the worst Humphrey Bogart impression you've ever heard, and it carries on for about 15 minutes. You can't quite figure out why. Willem Dafoe is the shining star of it. He gets the best, easily the meat of it all. The problem is really all on Schrader's end. Now, his direction is fantastic. There's some great visuals in there, but his writing just doesn't quite seem to rein it in at any point. He doesn't find a through line. He doesn't find any consistency, and as a result, the story is kind of all over the show. And for most of the time, you're not actually sure quite what the hell it is you're watching. And that's a shame given the calibre of the talent involved, given that it's Willem Dafoe, given that it's Nicolas Cage, given that it's Paul Schrader. The three of those people together should be something genuinely amazing. It isn't. It is a letdown, and you're never quite sure what it is trying to achieve.
If those three names were connected to a film 25 years ago...
Amazing. It'd be an amazing film, wouldn't it? But, I say, I don't know what it was trying to do. All I know is it didn't succeed in doing it.
Can I just end with a not some news, but here's some things about Cage.
Go on.
He likes to make films.
He does.
He likes to make a lot of films. He has got 5 films in post-production coming out just next year.
Has he indeed?
Yeah. My favourite one has the title of Southern Fury.
Oh my God.
A Southern mobster attempts to rescue his kidnapped brother. And I think that brother is played by John Cusack.
Oh my God.
Because John Cusack he's going into Nick Cage.
He is. And they have starred together.
Frozen Ground?
Frozen Ground. They starred in Frozen Ground together.
That's it.
But so we don't forget though, we have got another 2 Nicolas Cage movies to review in the next month.
Oh.
So
it's been a great couple of years.
It has. Yeah. The Raging Cage is in full swing.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen.
My wingman anytime.
And we're back. So let's do Indignation, do some news, finish the top 10. What do you think? I think that's a good 10 minutes.
That sounds like a plan.
That sounds like a plan. So Indignation, because it turns out that Philip Roth adaptations are like buses. You don't see one for ages and then 2 come along at once.
Yeah.
And so we had American Pastoral last week, which Ewan McGregor managed to sink by miscasting himself. Is it in the top 10 this week, by the way? It's not, is it?
I can't see it.
No,
maybe it was number 11.
Maybe.
Let's say 11.
Well, it's not going to appeal to anyone. I don't think anyone's actually going to see American Pastoral. But now you've got Indignation. And this is a year earlier than the novel is a year earlier than American Pastoral. This stars Logan Lerman, which makes me very happy because I'm a big fan of Logan Lerman. As you may recall, I don't know, have we ever had the Logan Lerman conversation?
I don't think we have, but I wouldn't call myself a big fan, but I like him.
I wanted him to be Spider-Man.
He would have been a great Spider-Man
wouldn't he?
about 5 years ago.
Oh, no, I was thinking about for, like, Civil War.
How old is he?
He's 24.
He's too old.
He's 24.
That's too old. That's too old this day and age. I mean, it's not Tobey Maguire.
Andrew Garfield's my age.
Still too old.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. But yeah, so Logan Lerman and Sarah Gadon and Tracy Letts, an actor I adore.
Oh, hey.
You remember we were talking about him recently with what was the Daniel Radcliffe Nazi movie?
Imperium,
that was the one, yeah, where he was the sort of Glenn Beck type character. The trio combined in this one for this is the story of Marcus Messner, who is a young Jewish American, because this is a Philip Roth novel, and his novels are literally always about 1950s and 60s young Jewish Americans. So this time, his young Jewish American lead goes to college. That's the plot of it.
That's like an earnest film.
Philip Roth presents the young Jewish American saves Christmas. That's how it works.
Goes to camp.
Exactly. What was the one? There was a basketball one, wasn't there? There was
I am on IMDb.
There was an earnest basketball movie, and I can't remember the title.
I remember it as well. Do
okay,
review. I will look it up.
Right, so he goes to college where he meets a young girl, and he finds he leaves home because his parents are overbearing. He's living under the shackles of their parentage. Goes to college to discover life for himself, only to discover that moving out into the world on your own brings with it a whole new set of shackles, basically institutional ones, and he has to overcome those. At the same time, he begins this relationship with Sarah Gadon's character, who is a mysterious yet kind of precocious but unnerving young woman, and saying it all comes to a head. We have a clip.
Thank you for talking to me.
If I talk to you again, maybe you won't have to stand under my window all the time.
Oh. It's funny. I don't actually know which window is yours.
I'm on the 3rd floor, on the left facing the quad, just for the record. I rarely see you looking up. If you're not a peeping Tom, what's the point?
Because it just makes me feel as if, like I'm making sure you're okay.
Oh, Marcus, I'm fine. It's you I'm worried about.
So Sarah Gadon there with Logan Lerman, and first of all, I'm a very big fan of both of those. I like Logan Lerman very much. Have done since Percy Jackson of all things. Where I thought, actually, this young kid's got some charisma.
It could have been a pretty good franchise. Yeah.
I do think it's a shame that franchise died on the vine when it did.
Yeah.
Sarah Gadon is just an up and comer now. She really is.
Yeah. What's she been in recently? Let's have a look.
Recently. Ooh.
Oh, The Ninth Life of
Louis Drax.
Yes,
yeah. She was very good in that as well. I always remember her from what was the one with the Queen and her sister going off on holiday?
A Royal Night Out.
A Royal Night Out. That was it. I thought she was quite good in that. This is an obscenely well performed film. The problem with it, and this is James Schamus, who's responsible for writing a lot of films, not so much for directing. I think this is actually his directorial debut.
Yeah.
He is an Oscar-nominated writer. He got an Oscar nomination for writing Crouching Tiger, of all things.
It's been nominated for 3 Oscars.
For 3? Okay, fair enough. So it's understandable then that this film benefits more on the page than it does on the screen. This is a problem that seems to be systemic of Philip Roth adaptations, full stop, which is, whereas American Pastoral at least had the sort of mystery aspect, this doesn't. This is very much just a coming-of-age character piece. And the problem is we've seen Logan Lerman do it before. We've seen a Philip Roth adaptation recently with American Pastoral, and this, frankly, isn't that gripping a film. It's charming enough to distract you from the fact that you're not particularly gripped, but it's still quite a stagnant affair. It's very much... I don't know how to phrase this, the typical representation of what happens when you adapt classic American literature.
You get something like this.
You get that, where the dialogue is it kind of trails off, and it's meant to be poignant, but then it comes back on itself and tries to be poignant in a slightly different way, and then carries on trailing off.
Something we've seen before, and there's just stuck around.
To put it in context, this is the kind of film Brian Griffin would love. if you can imagine such a thing.
I think this is the kind of film that Brian Griffin would love to tell people he's seen, but probably has not seen.
Yeah, that's very much the problem with it. And it's a shame, because I really enjoyed the performances. I just don't. James Schamus is not really bringing it behind the camera. He's kind of focusing on the page, but that's a shame for me.
Right then, I have some news about the murder on the Oriental Express.
The Oriental Express, did you say?
I meant to say Orient Express, but I said Oriental, so I'm sticking with it.
Well, you know what? It's a remake, so they might change the title. We don't know.
Just put an A and an L there.
An A and an Al?
I can't talk today.
You're not on fire today.
I'm really not.
So, go on.
I've made no segues today. It's been rubbish.
Yeah, where's the segueing?
I'm going to work up to one.
Paul Blart-Moorcock will be very disappointed in you. So, so go on. What's new with the Orient Express now?
It's got a new cast member.
Ooh, I like it when it gets cast members.
Because this cast is incredible already.
Who have we got so far? We've got
Johnny Depp.
Yep, we've got Johnny Depp. He's the victim, though.
He is. He plays Ratchet.
Yes. Yeah. So he's going to be briefly in the beginning.
Yeah, and then he's going to get
the suspects on the train.
So Daisy Ridley.
Very cool.
She's got like loads of films coming out now, which is fantastic. Kenneth Branagh himself is playing Hercule Poirot.
He's also directing, obviously.
Yeah, Judi Dench, your boy Michael Pena.
Yes.
Josh Gad, which I didn't.
Yes, I didn't know about Josh Gad either.
They just kind of snuck him on. Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton, he's really good. Derek Jacobi, because Kenneth Branagh, best friends. Michelle Pfeiffer, did I say that? Michelle Pfeiffer.
You mean what's her name? Mrs. David E. Kelly. You mean Mrs. David E. Kelly.
Mrs. David E. Kelly. Yeah.
Mrs. David E. Kelly, aka
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now we have Penelope Cruz.
Do you know who never gets mentioned in that cast? Well, Lucy Boynton is in that cast as well. From Sing Street. Yeah, she's in there as well. So I read this, but they didn't say who Penelope Cruz was going to play.
And it still doesn't. It just says that she's officially in the cast. But even so, that's pretty good.
She's pretty good.
She's big enough. This is a big cast.
Did you know what she's filming at the moment? You're going to love this. If you don't know.
It's going to blow my mind.
It's going to blow your mind.
Is she doing something with Pedro Almodovar?
No. She's making a film with her hubby, with Mr. Bardem.
Yes.
They are making, and I think the title will tell you what this film is. The title is Escobar.
I'm going to be first in line to
that. I will be. I'm there. I'm sold. There's a Pablo Escobar movie with Javier Bardem.
Hopefully a good one.
Hopefully a good one.
Listen to the tone of my voice, Benicio del Toro.
Oh, yes. You have no idea. What was the one with Benicio that we watched recently?
Paradise Lost.
That was the one with Josh Hutcherson.
Peter Bread. From The Hunger Games.
Yes, Peter Bread. Yeah. Let's finish the top 10 then.
Number 5.
A street crack named Bob.
A street crack named Bob. No, wrong drug. Sadly, wrong drug. No.
Well, I couldn't fit that pun in.
So this is the family-friendly comedy about heroin withdrawal with a cat.
Yep.
And
that's the official tagline.
I think that should be the poster quote. If they'd let us give a poster quote, and they should have, it would have been a family-friendly movie. It's the best family movie about heroin withdrawal you're going to see this year. I think that sums it up. Yeah, by default. The cat's funny, and Luke Treadaway's perfectly likeable. Rudiger Mendes is sort of implausible, say he's supposed to be from Sheffield, but likeable enough still. You like the movie, even though you know you are being pandered to. You know it's condescending. You know it's cloy. You know it's mawkish. You know it is sickeningly rotten at its core. But
it's got a cat.
It's got a little cute cat. And that cat is very charming, and I'm okay with that, to be honest.
Number 4.
The Accountant.
The Accountant. Well, how much has The Accountant made, just out of interest?
Let's have a look. £2,970,027.
So The Accountant is pulling in some money, at least. That's good to know. This is Ben Affleck playing Spock with the abilities of Jason Bourne. And it's goofy, and it's gormless, but it's fun, and I like that. And apparently Gavin O'Connor's gotten a new job out of it, because he's got Green Hornet, hasn't he?
That was the other part of my news for Green Hornet. Thank you very much. I'm terrible at my job.
Yeah, so Gavin O'Connor's... that's the thing. It just looks like every one of the films it's borrowed its best bits from.
The Accountant?
Yeah, so like films like Haywire and things like that.
It's got an entire third act from Haywire, wasn't
it? that house in the snow. The siege in the house in the snow. That one, it's got that down to a T. And you know what? Gavin O'Connor at least knows to just go for the fun, and you will at least distract people into not caring.
Number 3.
Trolls or Trolls, depending on who you are.
Well, I liked it. In fact, before we started recording, we saw the music video for...
Yeah, was that the first time you'd seen it?
I'd not seen it before. I don't watch music television.
Neither do I.
I'm in my 30s.
I found Justin Timberlake bloody charming.
I have CNN on more often than I have any kind of music channel. It's saccharine, it's fattening, it is just sugary to the point of diabetes. But you know what? It's likeable enough, and it's got this sort of
it's catchy,
uncompromising, sunny disposition that will wear you down to the point that you come out of the film just glazed over, being, duff beer for me, duff beer for you. It's very much that kind of film. I like the voice cast. I like the songs. I liked it. I can't really say I liked it.
Number 2.
Dormammu.
Have you come to bargain? Doctor Strange just slipped off the top spot. Wow.
It has, but you know what? It's had 2 weeks. It's made a lot of money. It continues to make a lot of money in America.
Oh, I think it'll be making money for a couple of months to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those Marvel films where it's not going to hit $1 billion, but if it goes over, 600, we're happy.
I think, to be honest, it'll make Ant-Man money.
I think that's what it's projected at. Maybe just a little bit over. Like that opening weekend it's real big news.
It was a solid opening weekend.
It really was.
And that's the thing. It's one of those films that actually, in a strange way, embodies everything good and bad about Marvel at the same time. Namely, they can bring you a good cast. They can bring you a great cast.
They've got enough clout now.
Exactly. They can write a great by-the-numbers superhero movie. They will take a story that's relatively by-the-numbers, but they will write the heck out of it. Unfortunately, it is by-the-numbers. And that really is the downside of it. You do kind of know which twists and turns it has to take, and by the end of it you think, okay, I want to be surprised now, so let's just see him with the other characters. Let's see what happens when he meets Iron Man and Thor and Captain America. And that's what we have to wait for.
We don't have to wait too long, though.
But no, we have to wait until is it next year? Is it November?
2018. Oh no! Apparently it's going to be in Ragnarok, which is just next year, November.
Yeah, so we haven't got long to wait. We'll get to see it. And that's the thing. Cumberbatch is very likeable in this, even though he's got that daft accent.
I don't really like Cumberbatch. I loved him in this.
Number 1.
Arrival, new entry.
Did you have the pleasure of this at the weekend, by any chance?
No, it's the one film that I want to go see above any other film.
I kind of envisioned you just running out on Sunday afternoon and catching this.
No, I was sadly busy on Sunday.
Well, this is actually an astonishingly well put together film.
Yeah.
Having said that, you kind of expect it from Denis Villeneuve. It is adaptation of a 40-page short story, blown out to just under 2 hours, without feeling overexpanded, with managing to feel completely insightful, managing to feel well explored, well defined, well imagined, and well realised. It is absolutely wonderful, cerebral science fiction that manages to somehow combine the concepts of Contact and Sphere, and then smack Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner in the middle of it. And Jeremy Renner, who, let's be honest, is kind of always a bridesmaid, never a bride of actors. He is, isn't he? He's not a star.
Absolutely.
He's not a star.
Well,
he's a great supporting star.
You just have to look at the Jason Bourne franchise.
Yeah.
Look at the Mission Impossible franchise.
And I love it. I thought it was great. I think it's genuinely one of the best science fiction movies in years. I think it's a better movie than Interstellar. And Interstellar had Christopher Nolan behind it. So make of that...
but it also had Murph 79 times.
It did.
Murph!
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back and dancing. Have you heard the news about Jeremy Renner?
This is Mission Impossible 6 thing we were on about.
It is indeed. A potential clash of schedules, unfortunately, means that he may not be in Mission Impossible 6.
Oh, because he's Hawkeye.
Because he's Hawkeye, because of Infinity War, when we're going to be shooting stuff. He says that it's not
It's going to take a year,
confirmed.
isn't it? It's like most of the next year is Infinity War for him.
Essentially, yeah. Because are they shooting both films
Both
back
films
to back?
are going to be back to back,
Infinity War and then whatever the last one's going to be called.
And then,
it's not going to be part 2, is it?
Well, it is going to be a sequel and a follow-up, but I think it's going to be a mostly kind of a Fallout movie.
Essentially, yeah, I believe so. But it may be without Hawkeye, or maybe Hawkeye will just be in one of them, or Hawkeye may die, whichever one
seems to be most of the year for him. So you think, okay, it's going to be a lot.
That's a big thing, yeah.
It's a huge thing.
We shall see.
We shall. But so no Mission Impossible 6 for Jeremy Renner, possibly.
Maybe we'll get someone else to join the team, though, because I really love them having a team dynamic now.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I think since they instilled that in the last few...
He could do a cameo. He could.
Just
cameo, couldn't he?
Skype. Just get on Skype.
Exactly.
just put the bow and arrow down so we can't see that.
Exactly that. Just do that cameo like Jimmy Carr did in that movie, The Comedian's Guide to Survival, where he didn't actually appear in it. He's just seen to be stood in the room. But something like that. The weird thing, that means Jeremy Renner might have gone 2 for 2 with being hired to replace a star and then winding up being replaced by that exact
Always
star.
Bridesmaid, never the film star.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of weird because Jason Bourne and now this, and just it's not.
But Jason Bourne wasn't great, so maybe he dodged a bullet.
It's not, but it made some money. There's going to be.
It did make some money.
There's going to be a Bourne 6.
There will be a Jason Reborn again.
Exactly, but poor Jeremy Renner. Poor Jeremy Renner. I mean, he'd come so far since that Angel episode he did, but he was a villain in an Angel episode.
Yeah, and then he was in The Hurt Locker.
He was, and then The Hurt Locker sort of changed it all for him.
Do you know what film I think he's really great in?
Go on.
The Town.
I like him in The Town.
I really like The Town.
Do you know what film I like him in? And you're going to hate me for this, because it is a schlocky film.
I love the schlock.
Right. SWAT.
Right, it is a
schlocky film. I like him
I
as the
forgot
villain.
he was even in that.
Because he's the villain, isn't
Yeah.
he? I like him as the villain in SWAT. I think he's quite good.
I can imagine being a pretty good villain. Yeah.
Well, also because that film has inverse casting, where Colin Farrell's the lead but should have been the villain. Jeremy Renner should have been the lead but he's the villain. So,
and Sam Jackson's there. Because
it's
a film.
He has also got that moment that I absolutely love, in which LL Cool J just pops up out from behind something, cocks a shotgun and says the words, "Tell Daddy how you want it."
Ladies love Cool James.
Ladies do love Cool James.
Okay, tell me about the Stooges documentary, Gimme Danger.
Okay, so Jim, this is the thing. So, like Philip Roth adaptations, it turns out Jim Jarmusch is like buses as well.
He is indeed.
Yeah, because we've got another Jim Jarmusch film in the next couple of movies, isn't it?
The Adam Driver one. What's it called?
Patterson.
Where he is a bus driver.
He's a bus driver. Oh, fair enough. The first and foremost, he's directed this documentary about the Stooges, so about basically the rise of Iggy Pop, as it were, because the Stooges are credited as having changed the music industry, even though they never quite explain how. And Iggy Pop is now Iggy Pop as a result of this. So, we have a clip.
We ready? Yeah. We are in an undisclosed location, interrogating Jim Osterberg about the Stooges, the greatest rock and roll band ever. Iggy and the Stooges reinvented music as we know it.
We weren't like the other bands.
A feeling come over you with this great sound that we're making, and sometimes I would just hammer on my guitar.
I just started jumping up and down like baboons do before they're going to fight. As soon as I started doing that,
So I will say this, it's never less than entertaining seeing through Iggy Pop, is it?
Unless it's a car ad.
Unless it's a car ad. This is the strange thing about this is it's something that the documentary doesn't particularly concern itself with the influence of the Stooges. It's more entirely about the Stooges. It does tell you about their inception, their rise, and really sort of where they are today. I mean, they do keep reforming, don't they, the Stooges?
In some variation.
In variation, but through mainly the festival circuit, they do get back together.
The guitarist I best player passed away a few years ago.
Well, they've lost 3 over the years. They've lost 3 members of the band over the years, and they've replaced some and gained others.
Yeah, but Iggy has always obviously been the face.
That's it. I mean, the thing about it mainly is you are somewhat mystified as to why Jim Jarmusch in particular is doing this, because it's not a very Jim Jarmusch film. There are some lively visuals to it all, but other than that, you can't quite figure out why, other than it simply being a meh, I like the Stooges sort of
this is only his
project.
second doc as well.
Yeah, I found that. But it is a film that you do sit there and think, I feel like this just belonged in a Legends of Rock box set. It has the feel of a VH1 true behind the music sort of a documentary. It's not quite like Supersonic was. It's not quite like Amy was. And we do have a different caliber of music doc now. And this is kind of a problem that's going to arise. Having said that, it's light years ahead of that Stone Roses one for a few years ago.
Was that Made of Stone?
Made of Stone, which is my go-to for crappy music.
What's your favourite music doc?
My favourite music, Doug?
Well, is it Live Forever?
It is Live Forever. We've had that.
It is good.
Yeah.
It is good.
It's such a good documentary. I love
like Some Kind of Monster. You see
I like that.
Oh, but it's just great. Like, you can show that to someone who absolutely hates Metallica, and they will really, really enjoy it.
It is. It's a great, because none of the people involved in that none of the people in Metallica seem to have much of a problem of being presented in an unlikable context.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair to the members of the Stooges, they have a very similar sort of idea. Iggy Pop, in particular, seems to know that he's mental, but he's upfront about it. He's upfront about it. He's fine. I didn't realise, for instance, by the way, the whole shirtless thing that he does. Do you know why he does that? What that actually comes from?
No, but I don't think I've ever seen him with a shirt on. I've seen him with a jacket on.
Yeah, I've never seen him with a shirt. Yeah, I've seen him with jackets with no shirts. The reason he doesn't wear a shirt, in his own words, according to this documentary, is because he wants to ape the Egyptian pharaohs of the old movies, and we are shown a clip of a movie he watched starring Yul Brynner as the sort of shirtless pharaoh, and that's where he took the idea from.
Come from. So, if anything else from this documentary, we've got an answer.
Well, that's it, because I'm always the one who says when a documentary doesn't particularly inform me of anything I didn't know before. Now, as far as this goes, actually, you do learn an awful lot that you may well not have known before. And I'd call that quite a triumph. It works as infotainment in the truest form. It is entertaining, and it is quite funny. It is genuine. There are times you will laugh out loud
Iggy Pop is a really funny guy.
But the rest of the band as well, who seem to have a strangely upbeat acceptance of the fact that they are second stringers, that they are the sidekicks, and yet they're totally up about it. They're very, yay, we're the second stringers, but we're Iggy Pop second stringers, and we're all the Stooges, yes. And I kind of like that about it. There was something refreshingly earnest about it. The problem was, it just didn't. There was nothing about Jim Jarmusch anywhere on there. You can't figure out why he's done it. It is a sort of mystifying project in that way. It's not a Jim Jarmusch film in any
I don't know what
sense.
his relationship with the Stooges or Iggy Pop is. Like,
seems to be quite friendly and affectionate.
Yeah, I have just seen not seen a film, just seen a photo where they're just like together, hugging each other. So yeah.
Well, it's not our film of the week anyway. So do you want to give me a bit of news and then we'll round up? What do you got for me?
Just a little bit. Okay, so we did a while ago. This is we were talking about the Janis Joplin film, Janis Joplin biopic, and it was reported that Michelle Williams.
Yeah, I remember.
That's going to be her next film. She is indeed going to be Janis Joplin.
Because you were disappointed it wasn't Amy Adams, weren't you?
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was going to be it for Amy Adams. That was the film. That was
going to walk the line.
Absolutely, yeah. But I'm happy with that. I really, really love Michelle Williams. I can't wait to see her in Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, that's gotten rave reviews, hasn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait to see that film. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, film of the week then. I think I'm good. As much as I hate to do it, I think
it's Fantastic Beasts, isn't it?
It's got to be Fantastic Beasts. I think it's because it's the all-rounder of everything this week.
Yeah.
It's a very divisive week. I think Fantastic Beasts is the all-rounder. Everyone's seeing it anyway.
Yeah, it's just going to be a good time in a packed cinema on Friday.
By the time this goes out, it'll have made all the money already, because I think the midnight screens are all sold out. So, you know what? If you're a Harry Potter fanatic, you are going to adore this regardless of what we tell you about it. If you're,
why even listen to us?
Exactly. Why pay attention? But yeah, so I mean, well, next week's an interesting one. Anyway.
What have we got on the docket? What do we have?
Well, next week is the sequel I have been dying for. Next week sees the return of Willie Smoke. Yes, I know. Bad Santa 2 is next week.
Just in time for Christmas.
Just in time for, the end of November or mid-November.
Which is when all the Christmas films seem to come out, weirdly.
Patterson, that's next week.
Jim Jarmusch,
Jim Jarmusch.
He's indeed like a bus.
And Adam Driver. Yeah. Allied is next week. Brad Pitt, Marianne Cotillard.
Yeah,
very quiet release.
It is,
very quiet, isn't it? There's some bus ads, but just don't really hear about it otherwise. There's one trailer, isn't there?
If I know, there's three.
There's three now.
There's a teaser, the first one, and then the last one where it was like, oh, here's the plot of our film. Yeah.
There's the Usain Bolt documentary, I Am Bolt, next week.
I'm looking forward to that just because he is great.
He is. There is Magnus, which I confess I don't know an awful lot about.
I don't know.
There is Mum's List with Rafe Spall next week. We also have, and this is one that's been quite widely advertised, particularly on the underground, a United Kingdom. with Rosamund Pike,
David Oyelowo,
and Romani Malco, who's an actor I like, despite the fact that he stars in some complete rubbish. Romani Malco leads the cast of Almost Christmas next week.
I didn't realise it. I saw the poster for that and didn't realise that was him.
It is him. It is Romani Malco.
So, of 40-Year-Old Virgin fame.
Of 40-Year-Old Virgin fame, because,
putting the P on the pedestal.
Yes, putting the P on a pedestal, as you do. Yeah. So we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. This has been a Candy Store production for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I've been, as always, Case Allen.
And we'll be back next week.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
Podcast extras then, Mr. Connor. Have you heard of a game called Minecraft?
I have heard of a game. Now, hang on, because there's toys, there's like Lego sets and
that have come from the video game.
Yeah, and this is the blocky world building game, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is blocks.
Everything is blocks.
Not Lego.
But not Lego,
yeah,
right, okay.
Different type of blocks. Video blocks.
Hang on. There's a movie coming, and it's the dude from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that's making
Mac.
it.
Yeah,
Mac.
Rob McAnally.
Yes.
Or however you pronounce his name.
McElhinney?
Something like... Let's call him Mac. Let's call him Mac, because that's how I know and love him. He is making it. He's going to be the filmmaker behind it.
Yeah, he was writing and directing, which is an odd choice.
Interesting, yeah, but apparently he's been a big fan of the game for years and years.
Do I know?
They have a star now, apparently.
Oh, I did hear this, and it's mental.
Steve Carell.
I know.
Last person I would... Well, maybe not the last person.
Is this going to be an animated film?
might have been the last person. It is going to be animated.
Oh, it is going to be animated?
Yeah.
Okay, I can kind of see that, I suppose.
Yeah, so he's going to be voicing, or... But it's strange, isn't it? Because it's a video game that has no, linear narrative.
No, it does now. It does now, yeah. There is a new version of Minecraft. I don't know what... I think it's something like Minecraft Story Mode or something. Oh. And the reason I know this is because...
So if the film is going to be taking that as a jumping-off point,
or it could just be something like the Lego movie where it's...
Where they just create a cool story. Yeah.
But it's in South Park, there's a gag poster in the background, like Minecraft narrative or something.
But we still got all of our pop culture news from either South Park or Simpsons.
Yes.
More South Park nowadays.
We clearly are men of a certain age, case.
But yeah, Steve Carell, I'm a big fan of Steve Carell.
I am as well.
Yeah, just whenever I see that he's going to be in a film, I'm pretty happy about that.
I've really missed him since The Office finished. All those years ago, when The Office finished, and because now it seems like we see so little. He is in films, but because those films are twice a year at best, it seems like we see far too little.
They've been quite varied. It used to be that he was just a comedy guy, and then he was in Foxcatcher, which I thought was a tremendous.
I did the Woody Allen one recently.
Cafe Society, of course. Yeah, and then he still just pops up in just random. He was in that. What was that Meryl Streep?
Hope Springs?
Hope Springs. I always want to say Hope Floats, but it's not. It's Hope Springs. Yeah, he was the counsellor in that. So, yeah, I'm on board with anything Steve Carell wants to be.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Also, he does have a pedigree for animation because Gru. So
of course, although I feel like Gru is just not even a character people think about nowadays, just after the Minions exploded.
Well, I mean, there is a Despicable Me 3 coming, and it is about Gru again, so we shall see on that one.
Isn't Trey Parker voicing the villain?
Yeah, Trey Parker's the villain, yeah.
See, I may actually see it now.
But, because you have that whole anti-Minions thing, don't you?
Yeah, I bought a box of... Yeah. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I bought a box of cereal the other day in B&M, and bought it to sell Sugar Puffs, in case you were wondering.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't realise on the front of the box it was sponsored by Minions, and there were giant Minions on my sugar. I'm a 27-year-old man, but I can have Sugar Puffs, damn it. And I had Minions on there. It was just I wanted to throw it away.
I'm all about the Cocoa Pops. You can't write anything on the Cocoa Pops.
Maybe I should have just stuck to Cocoa Pops, or just plain Cheerios.
I'm trying to think what else is in the film news this week. Oh, did we talk about Aaron Eckhart?
No, we have not, and I will let you break this news because you broke it to me.
Yeah.
It broke my heart.
Aaron Eckhart is not going to return for Angel Has Fallen.
That sucks.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Olympus Has Fallen 3, the president's not going to be there.
The president has fallen.
The president has fallen, it seems, yeah.
Oh, it would be great if just he was replaced with, Nick Nolte.
Oh,
or just someone much older, and the president literally just falls.
Gary Busey.
The film was just called The President Has Fallen.
They literally just get Gary Busey to turn up and improv it. And that's the new president.
It's just Gerard Butler sat on the plane, just
by the
head
way,
in his hands.
By the way, because this bit doesn't go out on radio, I got to tell you, I'm not going to ruin it for you. I am just going to just tease you slightly by telling you there is a cameo that you might have known about in advance, but
is Gary Busey in Fantastic Beasts?
But have probably forgotten in Fantastic Beasts. It's not Gary Busey. It is someone amazing though, and
someone of Gary Busey level.
In terms of sheer awesomeness, yes.
Okay. Don't spoil it, then.
But I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to tell you there is someone that's going to blow your mind. It's only a little thing. It's only a little, middle of the film thing.
Blink and you'll miss it kind of a cameo?
A bit longer than that, but...
If you have your eyes closed for 30 seconds, you'll miss it cameo.
It is an animated character. It is an animated character. No, it's an animated character with a star voice behind it. You're like, I had no idea.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea. Wow. But,
so quite a recognisable voice, then.
Recognisable voice and a recognisable face because they've made it look like the person.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. I've got a little bit of the news, and we'll go to your name.
Okay.
So Ocean's 8 we've got coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently being shot in New York.
It's filming. Yeah, because there's pictures out at the minute. There's like set photos keep appearing of it.
Yeah, there's loads of pictures of Sandra Bullock and Carte Blanche.
Yeah,
just like
in nice dresses.
Yeah, just looking absolutely fabulous.
They just look like they're lunching. Every time I see a set photo, it just looks like Sandy and Kate have gone lunching.
We're just going for sushi.
That's it, yeah.
And if that was the plot, I think I'd be okay with that.
You'd be cool with it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. We're trying to steal 5 pounds of salmon nigiri. That'd be amazing.
The grand heist of the foie gras.
That's a Wes Anderson film. It's going to be coming out.
That absolutely sounds like a Wes Anderson film, doesn't
Absolutely, yeah.
Isn't he? You told me he's doing an animated film
about dogs.
Did you tell me that last week? Yeah.
I told you about it last week, and I forgot to bring it into the film news, so do you know what? I'll talk about it after I talk about it.
Okay, cool.
But Matt Damon, who was famously in the Ocean's trilogy.
Matt Damon! Sorry.
I like joke from how many years ago? 10, at least.
I can't help myself.
Matt Damon, he says that his character Linus from the original trilogy,
yes,
he's actually going to be making a cameo, so it is going to be linked. And apparently, Sandra Bullock's character is she's supposed to be
Danny's sister,
Danny Ocean's sister.
There was in the original announcement, cool. It was hoped that they would get Clooney to make a cameo.
Yeah.
So I wonder if
Matt Damon is filling that.
I wonder
role.
if he's either filling it or if he's the placeholder and they'll add Clooney as well later on.
I think they could, but I think this is going to be a franchise, and
I think so.
I'm alright with that.
But, hey, look on the bright side, though. At least Oceans wasn't popular enough to get the whole Ghostbusters backlash of, you're ruining our saga.
I know.
How dare you put girls in the man's film? You chode.
Women can do things.
No, except be president.
Apparently so,
do
yeah.
That.
Pumpkins can be president.
Pumpkins can be presidents.
Racist, vitriolic, bigoted pumpkins can be president.
A bag of Cheetos and straw can be president.
Yeah.
A woman apparently cannot, which is terrifying.
Yeah, we said we weren't going to get political.
No, okay, let's move. I'm
but do you know what? F*** it, let's get a little bit political. If you could cast someone as Donald J. Trump, and I can only think that J stands for either face or jerk off, who would you cast?
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. That's a good point.
Because the new season...
Everything comes back to Busey.
That's it. The next season of 24 begins... The reboot season 24 begins 2 weeks after Inauguration Day.
Right.
Begging the question, why are they not using this time to line Gary Busey up as the new president?
I don't know. Although I did see that he is going to be doing a Broadway show.
He's doing his own musical, isn't he?
He's doing Guy Busey sings the hits on Broadway. And that is not a lie. That's a poster I saw whilst I was in New York.
Oh, did you go to New York, Case? I hadn't heard.
Yeah, I've only told you 50 times. Anyway, enough of you bashing me. Tell me about your name.
I'll tell you about your name, but then you'll tell me about that Wes Anderson dog movie after.
It sounds like a deal.
It sounds like a deal to me as well. Yeah. Right, so your name, which this is an anime movie. It follows a similar plot to. Do you remember The Lake House? The Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There's a famous, I think, Robot Chicken or Family Guy sketch where he opens the mailbox and puts his junk inside it. Which, because he totally would have. I enjoy that movie. I actually do. But I think that's a remake of a Japanese film, isn't it? I think originally
Lake House?
Lake House was a remake of
Possibly,
a Japanese film. This is like an animated version of The Lake House, but with a slight twist. Rather than being able to communicate directly with each other, you've got a teenage boy and a teenage girl who wake up in different times in each other's bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, and so but the weird thing is, because you have a guy inhabiting a girl's body and vice versa, they start to solve each other's problems. And this is how the film begins. They start to, she fixes his love life, for instance, and like that because he has the feminine insight.
Yeah.
They start leaving each other diary entries through like an app on their phones and things like that. It's a quite intriguing concept, and it all leads up to a storyline involving a meteor that's caused this to happen in the first place, and a potential event of mass extinction. So
Donald Trump.
Well, exactly that. Yes, it's an anime movie about Donald Trump, of course. God, I can imagine how they'd animate that as well. I really can. I can picture it.
Let's just watch South Park.
Just watch South Park. Yeah. Funny thing about it, when it starts off and it's quite funny and breezy, and they're doing the lake house routine, it's very enjoyable, and you do quite quickly get into the swing of that. You've then got this midsection in which it goes weirdly into sort of strangely dramatic terrain, and it's so tonally at odds with the first third that you're kind of then unsurprised when the final act veers off entirely into what feels like the plot of Armageddon. Okay. It's Armageddon with time travel and this almost Doctor Strange level of pockets of reality, and really not where you think it's going to go at all. And it is all over the shop. And it's a good looking film in the way that all anime movies tend to be quite, visually striking looking.
Which studio is it, do you know?
I don't think it's one of the known.
It's not a Ghibli.
It's not a Ghibli, no. I'm trying to remember who the director of this was. It was Makoto Shinkai, whom I did have his page up a moment ago. Hang on, what is he known for? Here we are, director of Garden of Words, remember that?
I remember that, yeah.
He's Garden of Words. Oh, Journey to Agartha.
Yeah,
that was right, yeah. There you go. Now, this isn't quite as impressive visually as either of those. I think because it's quite... There are two extremes with it, because the girl, for instance, lives in quite a remote, almost seaside-like town, and he lives in the city. Or is it the other way? No, it's that way around, yeah. So you do get a bit of variance in the style of it, but it does all feel kind of pedestrian for anime. It does feel a bit, we have seen this before. Having said that, I didn't dislike it. The only thing I'd say about it is it went on far, far too long. It was an hour and 3/4 long. It's
pretty long for an animated film.
It's pretty long, but because of that tonal shift at every third, it really, really outstayed its welcome in that regard. You kind of wish there'd been a condensed, slightly more streamlined 80-minute version of it that had something more of a through line, rather than, here's a rom-com, here's a drama, here's Armageddon, with a bit of Doctor Strange. Imagine that. But so, Wes Anderson dog movie, come on, I held my end of the bargain.
Okay. Wes Anderson is making a film about dogs.
Sold. Okay.
Kind of it.
So on to...
It's going to be stop motion, just like Fantastic
Mr. Fox.
I was just about to say Fantastic Beasts. Fantastic Foxes and Where to Find Them.
Fantastic Foxes. I like that one.
Yeah, it's going to be set in Japan. It's going to have the voice talents of Jeff Goldblum, Edward Norton, the Cranston.
Ooh,
which
okay.
I believe is the first time that Bryan Cranston has worked with Wes Anderson.
Yes, I think it is.
Cool,
I think it is.
And Bill Murray, because it's a Wes Anderson film.
Well, that's kind of the case with... Also, I mean, that's the thing, because he's got Ed Norton and Jeff Goldblum back as well, so he's got three of his...
kind of cohorts.
Three of his Grand Budapest guys back.
Yeah.
But...
and also Jeff is in The Life Aquatic.
Oh, he is, isn't he? I got to catch Grand Budapest on Film 4 recently. I hadn't seen it in about a year.
That's a film I can watch anytime.
Well, I'd kind of mostly forgotten the ins and outs. I remember loving it,
Yeah.
But I'd forgotten the ins and outs. I review 400 films a year. It takes a toll.
You are but one man.
I see about something like 400-something films a year I review. So you tend to you forget the ins and outs. But I was genuinely blown away by... Good Lord, this is great.
Isn't it?
It's so good.
You just get so wrapped up in the world of it. And...
You lose yourself in that film, because it is just a classic, romping, almost Peter Sellers-like...
It is.
Classic adventure film. I love it.
Get your hands off my lobby boy.
I like that when Edward Norton shows up to arrest him and he just calmly turns around and legs it.
He's gone. And you think, but I did it.
I also like F. Murray Abraham in it. I think he's great.
Oh, he's fantastic in it.
Who is it that interviews F. Murray Abraham? I can't remember.
Jude Law.
Jude Law, that's it. Thank you.
Jude Law's good in it as well, which, that's a bit of a rarity.
I'm
not a big fan of Jude, but...
Are you not a fan of the Jude?
Not a fan of a Jude. Not a fan of a Jude. But, it was alright.
So what else is in the news?
Okay, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Because he doesn't really do an awful lot these days, old Lin.
I mean, he just spends a lot of his time sat on a porch thinking of musicals to write and then just never bother writing them.
It's good to own land.
It's good to own land. So he's like one of the Disney insiders now, isn't he? Really?
He is now, yeah. Isn't he doing the music for their version of The Little Mermaid, I heard?
He is. In fact, he is such a fan of The Little Mermaid, the 1992 version of The Little Mermaid. His son is called Sebastian.
My dog was named Sebastian for the same reason.
Really?
Yeah, we named our family dog after the crab in The Little Mermaid.
You are both adorable.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
My current dog is named after a Marvel car, so go figure.
Yeah. Mine is named after a famous American comedian.
CK?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Louis CK. Anyway, Lin-Manuel Miranda, he's doing a secret Disney movie with the co-director of Zootopia. Or Zootropolis. Which one did we get? Was it Zootopia we got?
We got Zootopia, because the city is actually called Zootropolis.
Yes.
So it makes more sense that it's called Zootropolis.
Yeah. But Lin, he's done the Little Mermaid music, or he's about to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be in Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, he's got Moana, which is
Moana
trailing at the minute.
Yeah, which he wrote all the songs and did the entire score for, I believe.
Is he got a voice in the film as well? He must have.
I'm not sure if he's a voice. He might just be doing just like a nod. I don't know, just like a smaller role, I guess.
Well, as one of the 9 billion people who subscribes to The Rock's Instagram feed, I do know that they
I'm one of them as well.
Are you one of them as well? I do know they are spending an awful lot of time together at the minute.
See that duet they did together.
Yeah.
Melt in the heart.
They're doing a lot of promo stuff together.
They really are.
Rock seems to really love that guy.
He really does. And for good reason. I was listening to Lynn on the Mark Maron podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Today, actually. It was this week's guest. Really interesting guy. Really cool background that he comes from.
I liked his appearance on Last Week Tonight a couple of months ago.
With John Oliver, yeah.
When he was talking about Puerto Rico and its economic plight, how it needs a cash injection.
That's a really good one.
But, cool. So I'm glad he's got a Disney movie of his own. I'm glad. But,
absolutely. I don't know if he's coming up with a story or he might just be like adapting something else. I don't know.
I'm telling you, it's going to be something in the way that Moana is Hawaiian. He's going to do something Puerto Rican.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be terribly surprised at all.
Puerto Rican princess.
Exactly, because Disney are definitely trying to tick those diversity boxes now. So
that's it. Although they did get quite a bit of flack for Moana, not for her character, but for Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character.
Yeah, I have heard this. The way he's visualized, isn't it?
Yeah, as a as a larger Samoan gentleman.
But The Rock is a larger Samoan gentleman.
And he's not fat. It's just he's broad. It's muscly.
Oh, he's a bulky guy, isn't he?
He is. But, he's also the sexiest man alive.
Yes,
People magazine, which should have been the opening film news. It should have been. We should have opened or closed the show with that. Yeah.
Did you see
I'll probably
the clip?
mention it again before we leave.
Did you see the clip when he went on the Ellen show and they presented him with an enormous tarp? Yeah, they presented him with an enormous tarp, and it was the magazine cover, "Sexiest Man Alive."
No way. No, I've not seen that.
And he responded by announcing he was going to secure it to his bedroom ceiling. Which I
don't doubt that he will.
I think he should. I absolutely think Rock should do that.
Oh, he's one of the best people.
He
in
is
Hollywood,
just awesome, isn't he?
Isn't he just the greatest?
He's announced he's running for president in 2020. I wholeheartedly endorse him.
Yeah, absolutely. Who would he be for, though? Because more than a few years ago, if it was about 15 or 16 years ago, he appeared at the RNC and the DNC. So I don't know whether he would be a
Democrat I think we know who he'd represent. Team Bring It.
That's fair. He'd be a third party.
He'd be Team Bring It. He'd be an independent candidate for Team Bring It. And you know what? He could probably make that work.
I do not doubt it.
I want to talk really quickly then about We Are the Flesh, which
you loved.
Oh, yeah, I adored this one. This is a really, really odd film. I'm not sure where this actually originates from. It's a Spanish language originally. This is a film about a brother and sister, so about the sort of college-age brother and sister type, late high school, early college years. Brother and sister who, in sort of a post-apocalyptic scenario, wander into what seems to be like a deserted factory, a barricaded factory, where they happen upon a lone, deranged man who's sort of managed to make a go of it for himself. He's found a way to forage, for instance. And they ask him if they can join him, if they can band with him and survive along with him. And what then follows is a sort of a scenario in which he perversely turns them on each other, as it were. He gets them to embrace their own carnal desires and their own animalistic tendencies, which results in everything from cannibalism to incestuous rape. And yeah, and for some reason a lot of paper mache, and then reanimation, resurrection, murder, rebirth.
The whole thing.
The whole shebang. And it is... You do kind of hope that it's going to go somewhere, that this is going to build up to some grand, meaningful thing. I mean, for the longest time, actually, the film seems to be laying itself out as the dark answer to the Adam and Eve story, the sort of dark equivalent of the inverse of that. But it tips its hat too early and just goes, for lack of a better term, mental, and it doesn't work. It then builds to this reveal, which if you've ever seen a film before, you can probably see coming a mile off, and the result just doesn't quite come together. Having said that, there are a couple of performances in it that are decent enough. I'm just trying to remember, hang on, who his name is, because IMDb and the press notes didn't list who played who. So I am completely guessing. I've just got some names.
They're just names.
They're just names. So the gentleman who plays the feral, loner, as it were, is just absolutely swinging from the fences. He's just going for as mad as humanly possible. The young girl lead, quite gripping, you can't really take your eyes off her. There is something about that performance, that very unhinged, broken performance, as this guy starts to just dismantle her. The biggest problem I had with it, more than anything, was it seems to be out for shock value and nothing else. There is a lot of unsimulated sex, for instance, a lot of quite graphic imagery, a lot of unnecessarily vulgar visual moments, and it doesn't quite really ever present you with any depth that justifies any of it, and it just seems this in poor taste exercise of sheer shock value. And you wind up coming away, I mean, it's only about 80 minutes long, but we all came out of the press screening, turned to each other and went, well, that happened.
That was a thing.
That was a thing, yeah. And we'd all been seeing Indignation that morning. Just going, that happened, that was the thing, yeah. Yay, okay. You don't get them like that anymore. And do you remember in sort of the 70s when you used to get all the Italian horror films? And a lot of them
I don't know, Van, I'm 27.
Well, I wasn't alive in the 70s. I'm saying there was the 70s, and in those 70s were some horror films. And some of those horror films came from Italy, Mr. Allen.
I like it when you're angry.
You genuinely looked like you thought I was going to tell you off then.
Oh, no, that's just my permanent expression.
Oh, I see.
Being a constant state of readiness.
It's that sort of bemused life finds a way expression that you wear sometimes. But that's the thing. It has the feel of, like the 10% of those Italian 70s horror movies that thought they were in the art house 90%, when in actuality were just dross. Yeah, this is that. Right. This is that, but Spanish language. Yeah. And didn't do anything for me. Wasn't particularly gripped by it. And
doesn't really sound like it would grip me.
No, it was just hideous. Don't get me wrong, it was better than The Greasy Strangler, but,
Oh, yeah, you're but one guy that didn't like The Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, apparently I am.
People loved that film. I never got a chance,
No, they didn't.
Sadly.
No, they didn't. I covered that when we reviewed it.
Loved it.
I covered that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I covered that when I reviewed it.
Yeah.
They said they loved it based on the trailer, because they saw the trailer, they said, "Ooh, I love that."
Then
they went and saw the film. I went, "Yeah, I love that. Yeah." You're like, "Oh, what did you love about it?" "Oh, I loved everything." Yeah. We have a mutual friend who does that habitually.
Are you going to name that?
I'm not going to name that. I'm not going to name that.
Name and shame.
I'm not going to name that friend because he is a friend. But I have told him before. But you could show him a trailer, and he will do that. He will love that film based on a trailer. despite the fact that he can see the film and it's rubbish. You know, just...
Tell me off air.
I'll tell you off air, but it drives me mad. Like, I can't understand that. Like, why?
Yeah.
But,
Nick Cage, God, stop doing it. Anyway, Brie Larson. She's great.
She's delightful, isn't she?
Isn't she? She is just a treat.
She is.
She's fantastic. She's going to be making her directorial debut.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'm bringing this up because, 1, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
2, pretty cool story, sounds like.
Okay.
3, she's got a hell of a supporting cast.
Okay, then.
Okay, so...
Spoil me.
It's going to be called a Unicorn Store.
Unicorn Store?
Unicorn Store. So
okay.
A store either for or selling unicorns.
I think you told me this a while back, but not a concept. You told me the title.
I think I just told you the title, but not the concept. So basically, it's quite fun of a ground in terms of what the premise is so far.
Okay.
But it says it basically focuses on a grown woman who moves back in with her parents. She then receives an invitation to open a store. I'm guessing the titular Unicorn Store. But Samuel L. Jackson is going to be in it.
Okay.
John Cusack is going to be in it. And Bradley Whitford.
Oh, right. I'm sold right there.
I just needed to say Bradley Whitford, really.
Yeah, you should have led with that.
I should have led Bradley Whitford and with Sam Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
Well, she was in Kong with Samuel Jackson, of course.
Yes, she is.
Maybe that's why they've become friends. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty good cast.
Well, you do get that thing where the actors who appeared in a film together, when one of them goes and makes their directorial debut, they start cashing in the phone numbers.
But like, hey, we just worked together.
Well, like Anton Yelchin was his directorial debut that he was working on was going to star half the cast of Green Room. It seemed.
Of course, yeah. That is actually being made now.
Is it still going ahead?
Because
he had Marilyn Manson doing the score.
Yeah, he did. I really hope that.
I hope that's still happening. I would love a movie with a Marilyn Manson score.
Has he done a score before to a film?
I don't know.
I'm surprised if he hasn't. I don't know. He's definitely the kind of guy that would...
I'm going to look it up. Please continue.
You do it. I've got some news about Fede Alvarez.
Okay, go on.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Fede
Alvarez, who made Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake.
Yep.
And I've really enjoyed both. Don't Breathe especially, I thought was fantastic.
Oh, it was amazing, wasn't it?
It's one of the best horror/thrillers.
Can I just point out, by the way, I just pulled up Marilyn Manson on IMDb, and it says under filmography, it has known for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
First thing, Matrix soundtrack. Second thing, John Wick, thanks. For some reason, the movie John Wick thanks Marilyn Manson. I don't know why. It seems to be sort of thanks for existing.
Do we thank him as Marilyn Manson or as Brian, his real name?
I don't know.
I love it. His name's Brian.
Okay, I feel like a bit of a fool now.
Why is this?
Because Marilyn Manson has been a composer on no less than 12 projects.
Sorry, Brian.
Yeah.
We're really ignorant.
Having said that, one of them is Marilyn Manson Third Day of a 7-Day Binge. Another one is Marilyn Manson Parody. But this is where it gets interesting. If you scroll all the way back, Resident Evil.
Did he just contribute a song, though?
Well, it just says composer.
It says composer.
Marilyn Manson. He's also on a documentary called Scoring Resident Evil.
So that's proof.
Yeah. So, sorry, please continue.
Anyway, Fede Alvarez.
Yep.
So he has been tapped to make the follow-up to Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, which is going to be called Girl in the Spider's Web.
Yes, this is the standalone one. This is the fourth of the trilogy, isn't it?
The fourth of...
The fourth of the trilogy.
Always makes me laugh. We're going to make the fourth of the trilogy.
Well, that's the Douglas Adams thing.
Yeah.
And Douglas Adams famously coined it.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Composers for Resident Evil are Marco Beltrami and Marilyn Manson. So maybe that's why it was so rocky and edgy.
Yeah. But sequel to Girl with Dragon Tattoo, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never thought that would actually see the light of day.
Well, this is the thing, because I think the options have expired on the cast now as well. I think I think the cast aren't necessarily coming back. I mean, can you really get Daniel Craig?
Well, that's the thing. Daniel Craig would definitely be a mistake, because Rooney Mara was interested in coming back. And I thought she was great. I thought she was really
I thought I read
really
somewhere
good.
that it was unlikely she was going to come back now.
That's a shame.
But also, like, you'll never get Daniel Craig back. Not now.
He was good in it, though.
He was good in it, but too much time has passed. The other thing I didn't like was in the American adaptation of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, they added a sexual component between those two characters, which, as far as I know, didn't exist in any other version. And I thought seemed very out of place. Seemed like a very strange thing to add.
Like, Do you know what I loved about that film? I loved the opening credits sequence.
Yeah.
It was like a really sexy Bond. It was like oil and...
Like a really sexy
Led Zepp song.
Before Bond went hentai. Before Bond started doing a little bit of squid porn. Yeah.
Yeah. It's too many tentacles.
You know the guys with boners during the Skyfall opening credits? There had to have been. They were just like dudes like, yeah, this is hard. But
let's move away from that. I have some news about the director of The Witch.
The director of The Witch.
Do you know his name?
Oh, it's not Ryan, is it?
No, it does begin with an R.
It does begin with an R, that's why I got confused.
Yeah.
Right, the reason, I remember we had this conversation briefly, and I said, is it Ryan Eggold? Ryan Eggold is the male actor from The Blacklist.
Yeah, that's what you got to confuse with.
Yeah.
This guy is Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers, there we are. So, Ryan Eggold, Robert Eggers, that's understandable.
It's not too far. It's in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
You're okay. He's confirmed his next film is going to be a remake of Nosferatu.
How weird.
How do you remake Nosferatu?
I know.
That should be...
I mean, Nosferatu's quite a short film, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can expand it.
It's quite a short film. That's what I mean. So there is room to do something new with it.
Was good.
Oh, The Witch was terrific.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I should be interested in that. Did you ever see a film called Shadow of a Vampire?
The Willem Dafoe one. Wasn't it Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich?
It is, yeah. Such an interesting concept for a film.
Oh, that absolutely tore the critics apart when it came out way back when. Because half of them hated it, and the other half were like, "This is amazing.
This is amazing. How has this not been made before?"
Yeah.
If you don't know what Shadow of a Vampire is, basically it's about the production of Nosferatu, where Max Schreck is playing what's his name, Count.
Just Count Dracula. Just call him Count Dracula.
he's playing the vampire.
Yeah.
And about how he goes so method, he essentially becomes a vampire.
You kind of just imagine Nicolas Cage did exactly that. 4 Kiss the Vampire, don't you?
I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire. Tell me about United States of Love, because I watched the last 15 minutes of it, and I need some closure and some context about it.
Right, okay. I'll be as brief as possible on this one, because there's not much to say, and there's not much positive to say either. It's one of those films that just pretentious people claim is amazing. It's really not.
It's a greasy strangler.
It's a greasy strangler. So this takes place in 1990. It's during the period sort of after the fall of communism, really, when the Berlin Wall's recently come down. Poland is facing a period of complete optimism, where people are beginning to break out and form their own lives. They're not quite as oppressed as they have been. This is directed by Tomasz Wasilewski. And it's it's an exploration of 4 women, and they're all connected through some work together, some are related. 4 women, possibly a 5th one does come into it later on, and how their individual storylines unfold in this climate. And you've got everything from general job dissatisfaction to life satisfaction to, a woman who just simply can't stand to be in her sort of loveless marriage anymore, doesn't like the shackles of domestic life, etc. Because, you got to remember, in the context of this story, this is taking place at a time when suddenly everything is possible. Anything is possible. So the idea of just doing the same old song and dance is, suicide worthy. And, which surprisingly is something that doesn't come up in the film. But, the biggest problem with it is quite aimless. It is quite a wandering, trailing off kind of a film. It's very much it's a film that thrives on static shots, art house static shots. Yet they're all handheld ones as well. They're annoyingly shaky cam static shots, and you just think, for instance, why have you done this? It's got this bleached out colour effect, which proves quite draining to watch.
It was like a really weird blue.
Wasn't it? It's just bleached out to this sort of kind of dirty light blue. Yeah. It goes on for, it's an hour and 46, I think it was. Hour 46.
Yeah, I only saw the last 15, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's an hour 46, but you kind of sit there and think, if you could have killed this at 75 and I'd have been good. And no, it's just, you watch it and think this is going to get the art house, the art house pansies out in full, going, oh my god, it's such a mature and developed project, such a well thought out character piece. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Put the Shiraz down. Shut up. Go and watch Fantastic Beasts. You want to really.
The snobs only drink Merlot.
Is that what it is? No, they claim to. They claim to. Okay, there is a difference between what film snobs tell you and what they do. Okay.
Yeah. I like gin and tonic.
In actuality, they're drinking Stella out of a bag, and you know it.
It's Carling Special Brew.
Yeah. Oh, John Colson, by the way, texted me during the week.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show. Texted me during the week to tell me off for last week when I asked about what's that candy you eat that's like clouds. Apparently, rainbow drops.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So that's apparently a thing. So I did get contacted and told.
I haven't had rainbow drops for years.
Oh, well, I think he called me a name as well.
Is it a name that you can say on a podcast?
I honestly don't remember what he called me at the time. But I just got a text out of the blue because people listen to things at weird.
Did he give you any context, or was it just like rainbow drops?
That literally was it. He just texted me some rainbow drops. But
that's for candy. Right, I have some news about.
Wait, hang on.
I've been given the finger of silence.
He texted me, rainbow drops, you the sweets that taste like clouds, brackets, podcast. That was it.
Just to give it some context. Yeah. Right, I have news about Aaron Sorkin. Okay. So I've told you about a film called Molly's Game that he has coming up.
This is the one about the underground poker queen, isn't it?
Yeah, which is a story I've been interested about for a long time. And
because like her clients were like really big names, like Affleck and
Tobey
Maguire
and yeah.
Was DiCaprio one?
Well, Tobey Maguire was there, so I can imagine that Leo at least went once or twice.
They're BFFs, aren't they? So
they are indeed best friends for life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You just know that Tobey Maguire secretly hates him. But,
do you reckon?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think we've got a pretty deep romance. I think he's just happy for him and his Oscar.
How'd you get an Oscar with your iron mask?
But anyway, it's been adding some cast members. The latest one is Chris O'Dowd.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Well, he's getting around now, Chris O'Dowd.
He just used to be the guy from the IT Crowd.
Well, he just rapidly ascended into this sort of what I call the Christopher Guest collective, really.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did Mascots.
Well, he did an actual series with Christopher Guest.
Oh, yeah,
which nobody saw. It was called Family Tree.
Yeah, I heard it was good.
Yeah, but like nobody watched. Got cancelled after one season. Nobody watched it. But yeah, apparently he's in big with those guys.
That's pretty cool. And also, he was doing the Judd Apatow scene as well because he was in Bridesmaids.
Yes, he was.
And then what else was he in? This Is 40. He was in.
He knows how to make friends and influence people, doesn't he?
He's not Simon Pegg.
Well, yeah. Also, that movie sucked. But never mind. So who else? We got Chris O'Dowd.
Kevin Costner.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Cera.
Michael? Oh, okay, I'll still see it. Yeah.
Would Michael Cera put you off a film?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If Michael Cera is the star of a film, that's enough to make me not watch it.
I used to look like Michael Cera when I was about 16.
Don't be silly. You have body hair.
How do you know? What do you think Mark said was just smooth? Like
you never noticed that black circle, that tiny black circle in the corner of your bedroom case?
Oh, with the red dot.
With the red dot, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Jessica Chastain is obviously going to be Molly Bloom.
I don't know why, by the way. When you said, "Do I think Michael Cera is smooth?" I just think he's hairless like a woman. I don't know why. What movie is that from?
What is that from?
I don't know.
I'd put it in my Google search, but I'm scared.
Your Google search. He's hairless, like a woman.
Like a woman.
Oh, it's a woman that says it, but I think it's meant to be. It's like a faux Russian woman or something like that says it in a movie. He is hairless, like a woman. Oh man, what is it?
Is it Dodgeball?
It might be.
I think it's Dodgeball.
Is it? Is it Missy Pyle? Not Missy Pyle. The one.
It is Miss Pyle, isn't it?
Missy Pyle.
Miss Pyle. Coincidentally, whose birthday it is today? I've just seen on IMDb with an F. And she don't talk about Justin Long. She's talking about the tall, gangly guy who was in Avatar.
Oh,
who you will know and whose name I always forget.
He's in Bones. He's one of the squints in Bones.
But yeah, that's the guy. And we've just gone on a giant tangent.
Oh yeah, because you broke the news that Jessica Chastain was going to play Molly Bloom.
She's going to be Molly Bloom, and Idris Elba is going to be playing her lawyer.
Oh my god! I mean, I'm so in. This movie sounds awesome.
I mean, just getting those two together.
And this is Sorkin's directorial debut as well.
It is. I don't know why it's taken this long.
Oh, man,
I guess he's just been working with some fantastic directors.
Well, yeah, I mean, I watched A Few Good Men just the other night. Big fan of that movie.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm really, really good, but I couldn't be here to see. I saw that you were watching it. I was like,
I was alone. I was alone at the time. The house had cleared out by that time.
Oh, I thought that was like your big party film night plan.
No, we threw a party at like 2 a.m. Everyone had gone home. I thought, I'm going to watch A Few Good Men. And then about halfway through, I fell asleep and then woke up at the point that they were cross-examining Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. You could not handle the truth.
I love that movie so much.
Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with this, which isn't so much news, more of just a fact. Were you one of the people that watched the Beauty and the Beast trailer?
I was one of the people that watched the Beauty and the Beast trailer, yes.
Yeah, one of the 127.6 million people that watched it within the first 24 hours.
That movie is just going to be like printing money.
Isn't it? It's going to be printing money with the Beast's face on it.
We might need new currency just to compensate for how much money that's going to make.
Gaston dollars.
Yeah, it's just... We might actually need to start mass circulating Disney dollars.
Disney dollars, yeah. Which you then won't be able to redeem in Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah, like itchy and scratchy money.
Exactly, yeah. But, oh man, it was a good trailer. It was a very
really good trailer. Absolutely. I mean, I knew it was going to come out like this week.
I'm sold
Moana's coming out on Friday.
Well, yeah, they've got to have it on Moana.
Haven't they?
But also, they want it out before Christmas, so that no matter what film you see at Christmas with the family, you are going to see that Beauty and the Beast trailer.
Yeah, when you go see Rogue One, you'll be seeing this trailer.
Oh, you will. Yeah, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna see. Is it going to be Thor Ragnarok? I think we're going to get a Thor Ragnarok trailer on.
Do you think?
Oh no, it'll be Guardians, won't it?
Guardians.
Yeah,
first.
the Guardians.
We've only had that first teaser, and to be honest, I don't think we're going to get that until.
No, we're going to get that teaser. That teaser is going to be on every film this Christmas.
Oh, the teaser we've already seen.
But it's also going to be on Rogue One.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Thor, they'll hold off until I think the Super Bowl. I think you'll get a teaser.
Well, you get Spider-Man first. Spider-Man's out June or July.
Well, there's that.
But yeah, Super Bowl's going to be a big one, isn't it, next year?
Oh, the Super Bowl next year, because let's not forget that, we'll have had an awful couple of weeks when by the time the Super Bowl comes around, so most of us will be in internment camps, so...
Lady Gaga is scheduled to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
I thought you were going to say Lady Gaga is scheduled to be in an internment camp.
Well... She was protesting outside of Trump Tower, so I would not be surprised.
But she's doing the halftime, is she, Lady Gaga?
She's doing the Super Bowl show.
Nice.
I like her.
I like her. Also,
I think she'll be good.
She is an entertainer.
More enjoyable and entertaining than Coldplay.
Well,
who had to get Beyonce and Bruno Mars.
I mean, I'll be really honest. I quite enjoyed the Katy Perry Super Bowl halftime show. But,
yeah. Do you know what's a great one?
But really shock. I thought she pulled it off.
Yeah. Not as good as Prince. Prince might be the best.
Prince was my favourite ever.
Oh, when the curtain goes up and he's doing that solo with the big silhouette.
Yeah, Prince was drop to your knees, form the cross position, close your eyes, and just embrace it sort of a performance.
Yes, it was.
By the way, I recently caught up on New Girl, as you may know.
Fantastic.
And I saw the Prince episode.
Oh, I love the Prince episode.
I didn't know that existed.
Did you not?
I didn't know.
It's such a good episode.
And so for the first 5 minutes he was in the episode, I was like, is that really Prince?
He contacted them.
I know.
As well, yeah.
I saw. I also heard that he chopped the Kardashians out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Love it.
He hated the Kardashians. There's a clip of when Kim Kardashian is pulled onto stage. Well, he's doing a gig at Madison Square
she's
Garden.
a terrible performance or something, isn't she?
She doesn't dance. He pulls her on stage to get down and dance and stuff, and she's just kind of waddling.
I've seen Kim Kardashian wiggle her hips in different scenarios, and she can't do that very well either. So I'm not terribly surprised.
Yeah.
In terms of ownership of one's body, she has none.
She has none at all.
She's mostly just a receptacle for the influence of others, let's say.
Yeah, well, Prince kicked her back into the crowd and just said, "Get off the stage. Welcome to America."
Love it.
His exact words.
Love it. Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. On which note, here it is.
Your moment of cage.
Well, while physically we are exactly the same, there are some slight differences personality-wise.
Yes, for example, this Nick is calm and stealthy, like a ninja warrior.
Whereas this Nick is an exaggerated, screaming psychopath who really just doesn't exist.